I love when she says recording in progress. We are live. Yay. Happy May. Welcome to the May issue of She Is Magazine. It's always a huge honor to bring on ladies that I've watched, that I admire. And we're sitting down today with TiTia Owens and her beautiful daughter, Chyna. And I'm going to pause for them to introduce themselves. But I don't know if you remember, TiTia, we met through our mutual friend, Narisha Liggins. That's how we met. And it was at an event. And you are, of course, unforgettable. and so, and so, when I reached out, I'm so glad that we came to this point that I actually did reach out. I was talking to my daughter about the interview today. As I told you, we're traveling to Atlanta, and she was like, "How do you meet these people?" I was like, I people collect. When I find good people, I don't let them go." So,
That is
so
great.
So you ladies, do me a favor, introduce yourselves to our She Is community. Tell us who you are, what you're doing, and we'll get started in this interview.
Okay. Chyna, you want to go first?
No,
Okay. Well, I'm TiTia Owens. I'm the mother of Chyna Elizabeth, and we have a podcast by the name of OK Den, which we started a little over a month and a half ago. I am a published author of the book How to Get Rid of a Man.
We're gonna
I'm a
talk
national
about that. Yes.
Hey, I'm a national recording artist, the owner of Owens Media Production with my husband, and I'm all things people. And I run a homeless organization. Where
Mhm.
are you outreach?
I
Yeah,
love that.
thank you.
yay.
Hey,
Yay.
hey.
I'm Chyna Elizabeth. I am her daughter. I'm a full-time makeup artist and I'm also the co-host on OKDN. Um, and yeah, I love everything art. I love Jesus.
Yes.
Uh, that's about it.
Yes. And I love that about you ladies, that your faith is in the forefront of everything that you do. Yes, we have fun and you all are, amazing in the things that you do, but you always project your faith and everything. And so I really love that. So thank you for taking a minute to introduce yourself. So we are going to jump right in, since next month is Mother's Day and I've got a mother-daughter duo. So awesome. And I was able to listen to a couple episodes on the podcast, and the way you bounce things off of each other. I love the mother-daughter relationship. There's just something super special about it. And so I identified with a lot of stuff that y'all were talking about. And so I want to begin with the episode where y'all were talking about becoming friends. And, growing up in the Black community, one of our mother's favorite lines was, "I'm not one of your little friends." And so now,
She said it often. She said it often.
and so now, and so now that relationships have evolved to the level where mothers and daughters can become friends, I want to start there. So how does that, and I'll start with you, Chyna, how does that space feel now where you can look at your mom as a friend?
Gotcha. It feels amazing, honestly. It took us a minute to get to this place, and now that we're here, it just feels free and it feels very enlightening. You can get a lot of encouragement and just be exactly who you are. Like there's a different type of comfortability with your
Mm-hmm.
mother because she's known you literally through all your ups and all your downs and knows your
Yes.
flaws, ins and outs, more than anyone else. So it's no pretending. It's just you exactly who you are. And
That's
it's great.
That is great. And some of the things you said and we're gonna get to you, TiTia, but some of the things you said in the interview just sound so much like my daughter. And you were just expressing how there were things that you couldn't tell your mom, how your mom was strict. And I totally understood TiTia's position of where she was coming from without even having to know the background, because that's just what
Yeah.
moms do. That's just who
Yeah.
we are. And so I think the point I want to touch on is when you said that she was strict and there were certain things that you couldn't communicate to her. Do you think it was that you couldn't communicate, or that you knew that your mom wasn't having it?
A little bit. I definitely know I knew I could. She made it always very clear that we should come to her and just be honest about it, even if it has to be on a note or just any type of way expressing it how we could. But I was not about to do that because I was scared of what could happen. She was a strict mother, so I'm like,
Yes.
I hear you, but at the end of the day, I know I'm gonna get in trouble for this, so I'm not gonna tell you. And so it kind of stayed like that for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. So
Mhm.
TiTia, same thing, how does it feel now to have a friendship with your daughter?
It feels amazing. I first of all love China, adore her so
No, I
much.
love you too.
Mhm. And because we can speak so freely now, and she does feel comfortable sharing with me some of the other things that she might not have in the past, it just blesses me to know that that's what we've arrived to. Of course, it was a process. Getting
Mm-hmm.
here has not been an overnight success,
Yeah.
but I believe we put in the work. And the outcome is friendship. Once you do the work and you're able to be honest and transparent, then you can have a beautiful relationship.
I don't know if this is how it was in your house, TiTia, but we're the same age. And so growing up, there was certain, things that we just knew, don't even try it. And children were not allowed to express themselves or offer their opinion. It wasn't valued, it wasn't solicited. And, it was always stay in a child's place and those types of things. And so that to me, created barriers to effective communication between children and their parents. And so how did you was that something that you just, it gradually came into the relationship where, okay, I need to let her, have her space. I need to allow her to be able to talk or to express her feelings.
That's how she was raised. She was always, their platform was always available. They were always able
Mm,
to express their feelings. I always wanted to know how they felt. Now, what they knew was I always had the final say so,
yes.
but they had free reign
Mm,
because not only did I want them to share, I wanted to grow. So I couldn't grow unless they told me things about myself that I needed to see about myself. I wasn't a
mm,
parent that thought I had it all together. I thought I was perfect by any means. So I would say, I'm not just asking you to talk to me to tell me about what you want to share about. I'm asking you to tell me what you see in me, things that I can better. And so I always gave them the right to not only share what was going on with them, but what they saw that I could improve on.
that is a blessing, and I'm praying that whoever listens to this will just hear that part, that we want our kids to be a mirror for us because we don't always have it together.
Yeah.
We really don't always have together. So, TiTia, answer this question for me. What is something that you wish you knew sooner as a mom?
What I wish I knew sooner as a mom, probably just how to assist them with being more transparent. Um, when I think about what I could have done, what I could have done more of was maybe it wasn't that they didn't know they couldn't talk to me. I don't know if I was communicating clear enough where they still didn't feel the fear of
Mm-hmm.
telling me what they wanted to tell me. So I think even though they knew they could, they still understood that my consequences were still stronger
Yes,
than my receiving of whatever they wanted to share. Even though that's not how I was feeling. If I told them they could talk to me, my mindset was open,
sure.
but that still wasn't being conveyed. Their thought process was, this is too bad to
Mm,
tell. Like there's still going to be a huge consequence. So for me, just I would have liked to have known how to have bridged that communication for them to feel freer to share what they wanted to tell.
gotcha.
Early.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And China, listening to your mom, what she said, her response to the question, what for you is your reality in that?
Um, I mean, she pretty spot on. The fear was there. I just didn't. And I wasn't a very open communicator when I was younger anyways. I was an introvert. I'm still an introvert. And so it takes a lot for me to express anything that I feel, or just I just wasn't that person to begin with. So for me to want to do that anyways, it was automatically like, But to have fear added on to that, it was definitely not happening.
Gotcha.
And like I said, she did make it known that we could communicate. And over time, as I got older and became more comfortable with talking, it became easier to do. And I did realize that she was more receiving and could take what I had to say, but it took a minute.
Gotcha. What's the best advice your mom ever gave you?
Oh, I would say honestly to keep God first. I would say her faith and her spirituality more than anything has been the greatest example for me. And just her walk. She is the only person, not the only person, but like she truly walks the walk. She not just talking and putting on the side of I'm a Christian and I'm just saying it. She's not a lukewarm Christian. She actually is
come on, hot or cold. Come on.
No, she all the way in. All the way in. So having that and seeing that up front and close and right in my face was the best advice or example I could have.
So she lived a life, and that's such a blessing because, I mean, what better testimony than to live that life in front of your children, where you don't always have to have the words. I mean, your actions speak. So let's shift a little bit, ladies. What does self-care look like for y'all? That's a big buzzword. But it's just a reality. It's not, it's not a word for me, just a word from me. How do you all ensure that you are taking care of self-care? You're, maintaining your mental and your physical.
You go ahead.
Well, for me, I like to be touched. Let me just say that. And because I like to be touched, I will get a massage in a minute.
Hello.
So I enjoy massages. That definitely gives me a sense of relaxation. I like feeling like a cotton ball. When I come out of I'm so light, it's like I can just float on air. So that blesses.
Yes.
And then the next thing is I enjoy spending time with my family, sitting at home watching a movie. That brings me so much peace, just knowing that my kids are here and my husband is here. We're watching the TV together, doing absolutely nothing, maybe eating. That makes me happy. So that's self-care for me. I love that.
That is beautiful. How about you, Chyna?
More than anything.
I did hear you talk about sleep and a affection for sleep and your loving being in your bed and going to sleep.
All that. Me and sleep have a great relationship. Also the movie. I do love going watching the movie. I'll go to the movies by myself in a heartbeat. Like I literally take myself to the movies at least once a month. Eating some good food always is amazing. I'm not a person that likes massages, but I will like for me, I'll go on a walk and like journal and just listen to worship music and spend time with God. But that's about it. If I'm not doing that, I'm resting.
Take a rest.
Yeah.
You took that scripture serious. Yes, rest. And that was another one of my questions. Do you journal? I know you said you journal, Chyna. Do you journal, TiTia?
My husband, you guys have my body's not organized.
Right.
Everywhere.
Are you like me? I have like 28 journals.
It's not journals. That's what I'm saying. It's an envelope,
a napkin.
I just grab paper. I can't throw nothing away. Don't throw that away. You got notes on it.
Trying to get your mama a nice journal for Mother's Day, please. Help a sister out.
I'm telling you, it won't matter. It's whatever is near.
Right. I love that. I do too. I have notes everywhere, but I journal collect. I just crazy. And then
Yeah.
and then I like them, and then I was like, I don't really want to write in it because it's so pretty. I got
Yeah. All that kind of issue.
That's what it's for.
That's me.
but I do have the ones. Right. I do have the ones I write in, but then I have like these sacred ones that I just don't want to mess up. I don't know. I love about them. I just don't, they're pretty. I don't know.
That's so funny.
Yes.
I
Yes.
do have about five or six, and they all have different things in them,
Mm-hmm.
but they all get written.
Yes. So, Miss Chyna, what if you could put a message on a t-shirt and give it to 1 million teenage girls, what would it be?
Oh, that is a great question. Um,
We can circle back if you want to think about it.
I mean, I always just go to faith. It's so typical.
But it's who you are.
But it's so
Yeah.
essential. It's so essential.
Yeah, no, it really is. I would say my favorite scripture, 1 Peter 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
It's talking about having beauty within and being quiet and still,
Mm-hmm.
and not, um, yeah, just being beautiful on the inside and not worrying about the outside. That's
Gotcha.
what God is concerned about.
Awesome. And how about for you, Tisha, for women our age? Or not our age, just for women.
My grandfather would always say, don't mess with trash.
Oh my God.
It will get in your eye. Don't mess with trash. It will get in your eye.
I was waiting for a song. Is a song gonna come out? Because I know, like I told you, I watched the podcast. It's like we get.
No, just that.
No, that's it. Don't mess with trash.
It'll get in your eyes. Okay. Is that one you heard a few times, Chyna?
All the time. Yeah.
So let's talk about the podcast real quick. What was the podcast born out of?
So for me, I thought the Holy Spirit told me that I needed to go ahead and start it with my mother, just so that we could be examples for the younger and the older generation, women who are actually living their life and wanting to hunger after righteousness, and to just get the different viewpoints of the younger and the older generations, because it's not a lot of that. People don't have a lot of younger women that I know don't have the older generation that can feed into them and bring them wisdom and give them the insight they need as they get older. And so that was what it stemmed from.
And I'm so happy you mentioned that. So, I'm sorry. Say that again, Tisha.
The podcast was Chyna's baby. This was something that she birthed and came to me with the idea. And at first I thought she was just playing, but she said it again. She's like, "No, Mom, I'm serious." I was like, "Okay, let's make it happen." And when she said that, and we did it.
Awesome. And you know what I love you said, Chyna? I love about what you said or how you described it with the there was not, I guess, the availability of older women to pour into younger women. The fact that you realize that that you have that desire, that you even desire that thing. And so I commend you on that. I didn't even know this was your baby. But just the fact that you realize the need for that is very commendable. So your mama did good, girl.
Yes, she did.
Tisha, let's talk about this book. Okay, let's unpack the name first of all, the title of the book.
Yes, How to Get Rid of a Man. And to think about the book, Michelle, I'm talking about these are things that women do that get rid of a man, whether they're trying to or not. I'm not telling you to get rid of a man.
Absolutely.
I'm saying this is how you get rid of a man. You get rid of a man by being disrespectful, dishonoring, emasculating, not providing attention, ignoring, selfishness,
Mm-hmm.
um, belittling, all those things I practiced in my
Mm.
first marriage. And so, because of that, the Lord clearly said, and now you're going to tell others what you did. I
Yes.
was like, oh, oh. But I'm realizing it is a blessing because pretty much since I put the book out, this is what I was telling my children. I am in awe of the Lord
Mm-hmm.
because it took me, I don't know, it took me over 10 years to write the book.
Awesome.
And when I first released the book, it was doing really well. And I can say, even to this day, every other day, if not every day, I get different book orders still. And
That's
that was 2 years
awesome.
ago because
Yes.
people are telling other people about it and they're realizing that they see themselves in the book.
Mm-hmm. That's most important. That is
Yeah.
most important. So tell us how we can order the book.
You can order the book at TiTiaOwensBooks.com. That's TiTiaOwens books, BOOKS.com, TiTiaOwensBooks.com, or BarnesandNoble.com, and then search for the book, How to Get Rid of a Man.
Awesome, awesome. You also do work for homeless. When I met you, that was the thing that we discussed. So tell me about your passion for this and tell me about the projects, the initiatives that you've had going for I since I've met you. And that
Uh-huh.
again, that's an issue, a pain point in society that I am so happy that you have thrown yourself into that work. So tell me about that, what you're doing with that.
Well, this month we celebrate 10 years of serving the homeless. So to God be the glory for that.
Yay! Yes.
So elated about that. And what the thing is, there are people out there who are feeling rejected, abandoned, and alone.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just not enough people supporting those groups. So the Lord called me to this ministry. He allowed me to experience it myself. There was a time I lived in my car. So I know all too well what it feels like, the emotions that you go through, the struggles that you
Mm,
have, the feeling of being unstable and not knowing what you're going to do from day to day. I understand that. And so the Lord called me to it so that I could take all of my gifts and talents and bless those in need. And so what I try to do is encourage and train other people how to do the same thing. We're putting on our third homeless expo coming up on June the 3rd at Oak Cliff Bible Fellowship, which I'm
awesome.
elated about.
Yes.
Um, we have a fundraiser where we're celebrating our 10 years. It's a fashion show. We're putting on Fashion Show with the Stars happening on August the 27th of
And I have
2020.
that written down. I want to be in the building.
And I
Definitely.
want you in the building. How
I
about
have that written down. I do. That
yes,
is
ma'am.
that is so amazing. And you spoke on something that it kind of goes over your head. You think about, homelessness and you don't have a place to live, you don't have a place to shower. But something that you just said, the emotions that are involved in being homeless. I mean, you got to tackle with, I don't have a place to live, but psychologically what that does to a person. And so
Yeah.
that's an important component as well.
Well, a lot of times people like to say that the homeless are crazy or they're on drugs or this and that. And I'm like, no, a lot of times they're mentally unstable because when
Mhm.
you are in that situation, you are not yourself anymore. When I was
No.
in that situation, I didn't feel like all the things I knew. I didn't feel like everything I had found out when I was growing up or all the things I was taught, all that went out the door because all you're thinking about is surviving.
Yes.
You have a different mentality altogether.
And how long were you homeless?
It was under a year.
Wow. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. I'm sure you shared it before, but thank you for sharing it here on this
Yes.
platform. So you're not just, talking, you have a lived experience in this issue. And so I completely appreciate, the work that you're doing. And I do plan to be in there August 27th. I have it already on my calendar. Yeah, I looked through your Facebook. I was like, did this happen yet? Did this happen? You're just like, no. Yes, yes. Because how you see something, it's like, oh man, it was last week. So what's next with the podcast? What are some of the goals, some of the things you ladies want to do with that?
Well, you want to talk about the series that's coming up?
So we're coming up, since it's Mother's Day, we're gonna have a series of 10 different mothers and daughters
Awesome.
coming to talk about their experiences and how they've grown their relationships and just the different dynamics of how it can be totally different in one household and
Mm-hmm.
different in another. So that's coming up in the new season.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Gotcha. So anything else I'm done with my questions. Any last words you ladies want to leave? Thank you so much for just opening up your hearts to talk about the mother-daughter relationship. It is one of the most unique. I am so happy that, I am now friends with my adult daughter, have been for several years, and then that relationship with my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just so beautiful generationally seeing that. And so, we honor our mom every year by taking her on a trip for her birthday and things like that.
Mhm.
You just want to create memories. And that's how, the legacy I want to leave. So yeah, can y'all speak to that? Some things that could help other women, younger women, as China said, that need a older woman to sew into them, speak to their legacy, to their future.
Well, like you're saying, I would just say be intentional about the relationship. That's the goal. Anything that you desire to have, there's work that comes with
Mm,
it. I don't care what relationship it is. If you want a close relationship with your mother or with your daughter, you have to wrap your mind around what does that look like? How do I go about it? And then be
mhm.
intentional about the process and be committed to it.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
I was committed to China, regardless of where she was at the time. I knew I wasn't necessarily looking for a friend per se, but I wanted her to know that I was wanting to be the best mom to her that I
Yes.
could be. The friendship was the benefit, but
Yes.
the mothering part was what I wanted her to know she had, that her mother was there for her, that she was open to listening to her, that she was making herself available, and she was willing to support her however she could, which was what I tried to do.
That's amazing. Any last words, Miss China?
Be blessed.
I
Live
love
life.
it. Live. I love young people. like, like we out here living our best life. Why are you stressing? I mean, take a nap. I mean, it's gonna be what it's gonna be.
That is so me. Okay.
I
So
can't
me.
wait to meet you. I can't wait to meet you.
I look forward to it as well.
Well, thank you, ladies, so much for your time. Can't wait to share you all with our audience, and just best of everything on the podcast. Okay, then, and
Yeah.
Okay,
yes, okay, then. Happy Mother's Day, Tisha. Thank you so much for
then.
joining me today. Talk to
Thank
y'all
you.
soon.
All
Love
right.
you.
Thank
Love you.
Bye.
Bye bye.